Good afternoon, everyone, or good morning, depending on where you are. Thank you for joining us today for our webinar from Creatio and Mitra, why a low-code CRM is a game-changing technology for businesses in 2021. Hopefully, if you're joining this session, you are interested in CRM and in low-code. I hope you have a little bit of background knowledge, and if you don't, by the end of today, you'll have a good understanding of what we're doing. So, to start with your hosts for today, so you have myself, Joshua Human from Creatio, and we have Dr. Ashok Sapaya, co-founder and CEO of Mitra Innovation. He will give a few more words in a second. So today's agenda, we are going to be looking at the speakers and companies introduction. So myself and Ashok will speak about Mitra and Creatio. We will have accelerated digital adoptions, future-ready companies. We'll talk about customer relationship management in 2021, and then summarize why low-code CRM is a game-changing technology for businesses in 2021. So that's really why we are here. And we'll take a Q&A at the end. Okay, so now, Dr. Ashok, would you like to introduce yourself and Mitra?
Thank you, Joshua, and thank you, Creatio, for inviting me. It's a real pleasure to talk to everyone who's in the webinar. A quick introduction, Ashok Sapaya. I'm based here in the UK, but grew up mostly in the US. Was involved in multiple companies, so I'm more of a serial entrepreneur. Originally started with Virtusa Corporation, headquartered in Boston, which interestingly got acquired last week. So that business ran for 21 years, got acquired by a PE firm for just over $2 billion. So it was a good success from that point of view. So I had the opportunity to work with a variety of enterprise clients, large corporates in various sectors, initially from the US, then in UK, into Europe, financial services, telecom, like BT and OpenReach. Quite a lot of experience in variety of technologies, from CRM to various solutions. So I'm very excited to talk about why low-code. Hopefully I share some of my experience with the audience today and some case studies, etc. The company Mitra Innovation is something we incorporated about 8 years ago. Again, headquartered here in the UK. It's expanded into 16 countries. We have presence in UK, Europe, Asia, Australia, and now expanding into the US market. It's a very specialized company with about 200 people. Focused on mostly accelerating innovation. What innovative solutions could we help our clients to deploy and increase their end customer experience and employee experience and productivity. It cuts across from automating processes, bringing in machine learning, artificial intelligence, and building new solutions in a rapid, accelerated way. Hence, we've been using low-code solution for a few years now. We became a Creatio strategic partner early last year. We already have serviced 10 customers within 12 months period, primarily because we have built the in-depth knowledge on Creatio technology, but we also couple that with innovation, agility, and really helping our customers to roll out the services really fast and bringing in great products and services. So I'll talk a little bit about what we are doing for various customers and projects, but it's very exciting. Thanks, Joshua.
Thank you, Ashok. Okay, so now a little bit about myself. So my name is Josh Human. I am an account executive with Creatio based in London, and I've been working with Creatio for the last few years with companies across Europe, South America, Asia, and APAC region. Really focused on CRM and business process management. I was actually based in Asia for around 6 or 7 years before, working mostly in China, and then working in the APAC region in software in various capacities ever since then. So very happy to be speaking with you guys today. So a bit of background on Creatio. So Creatio has 5 offices around the globe. Our headquarters is Boston in the US, with our main European office here in London. We have around 650 employees, with more than half of them working in research and development. So what that means is, because so much of our team is working in R&D, the capabilities of what Creatio can offer and accomplish is growing at an extreme rate. And really that's why our kind of low code functionality is really some of the best in the industry. We have over 700 partners, including, of course, Mitra, who are speaking today, that work with Creatio in over 110 countries. So our partner network is really our kind of local feet on the ground business support. So whatever country you are in and whatever language you speak and prefer to do business, we will have suitable partners, either kind of large or international size, or smaller, more local teams, if that's what you prefer. And we are frequently recognized by industry analysts such as Gartner, Forrester, G2, and many others. So looking here at the Gartner Magic Quadrants, Creatio is recognized in quite a few different areas. We're recognized as a leader in marketing, a leader for lead management, I should say, a leader in Salesforce automation. We're also recognized as a customer engagement center for business process management, and as a low-code application platform. So what you're seeing here is that Creatio, as a single piece of software, is actually recognized across marketing, sales, service, for low-code and for business process management. And that's really where Creatio comes into its own. Now with Forrester, you'll see again that we're recognized across those same key areas. So we've got marketing automation, Salesforce automation, as a customer engagement center, and also for dynamic case management specifically. So again, recognized across these key areas for the CRM and as a low-code platform and business process management. Okay, so here I will pass back over to Ashok, and Ashok, you can start presenting.
Brilliant, thank you again. So in terms of, before I go into the low-code CRM and how can you use that to digitalize and accelerate your business operation, I thought I'll start by sharing some relevant information, especially from a digital adoption. What are businesses doing around the world, and what your companies might be doing it already or planning to do it. It's always nice to take a look at what's happening in the industry. I came across this McKinsey article, and based on their study very recently, as vaccination is being rolled out around the world, we see light at the end of the tunnel. Businesses are starting to get ready for what might be around the corner for them this year and beyond. They identified 9 different characteristics the organizations should look at. Some of them are your values, you got your purpose right, you have a clear strategy that is communicated to everybody, etc. But there were 4 items that I thought might be very relevant to what we are trying to discuss, and they are, I think, a crucial part to building a winner company. You want to build a great company, you want to take advantage of the market opening up, economy opening up. You have to consider these 9 parameters or characteristics. First of them is building a network of teams in your organization. How can you build a radically flat organization rather than a hierarchical system? If you used to have a system like that, if you have a hierarchical system and a silo-based organization, your ability to collaborate, communicate with other divisions could be slow. And in the new world where digitalization is being adopted so fast, you would struggle to achieve that kind of radical innovation. So what kind of tools can you leverage to collaborate from your sales team to engineering team to delivery to customer service. How can you see an end-to-end workflow so that the end customer gets their service super fast? All of those are very, very important. We interact with utility companies, telcos, various organizations, even banks. Sometimes we call the customer service and raise a concern or even request a service. It takes quite a bit of time to get that information to the right department in those organizations and service the customer. So building a flat organization with many teams is definitely one to think about. Second is in terms of decision making, in my experience, I've seen most of the decision making are held by the executives and senior management in large enterprises, but that slows down your ability to innovate. Sometimes an agent who's picking up the call or a frontline salesperson on the ground talking to a potential customer might get a product feature that needs to be taken to your product team and built pretty rapidly to the end customer. Otherwise, you might miss the window of the opportunity. So how do you build an organization and be able to delegate the decisions to the lowest teams like agents and leverage that knowledge rapidly? So this is where the new generation of CRM are very essential to create that kind of collaboration across the teams. So that's something McKinsey has identified a critical requirement for business to take advantage of the new reality. Third one is around extending your team with a very rich network of external partners. It could be technology partners, it could be operation, it could be logistics. In fact, I was talking to CIO for a very large sports apparel company in the UK, and they're considering leveraging an outsourcing partner to manage the entire logistics. So there are so many things you could consider. So in building a dynamic partner network, complementing your service through a partner network is very important. It could be supplier relationship, it could be joint venture. There are various opportunities out in the market, but definitely you need a very close connection, high relationship with the partners. And then again, how do you make decisions with them? How do you collaborate with them? All becomes very challenging and important to do it. And the last one is data, which I'm sure all of us are very aware. We do collect large volume of data in our business, but do we use them wisely? Do we build new products and services from the data? Are we able to do analytics in a contextual manner, or are we just doing 2D reports from BI tools, right? So how do you know what your customers are saying? What features are they using? What products they are buying from you? Who are your repeat customers? How often a customer is buying something or not buying something, even though they express interest? There's so much data you're gathering on your CRM, on your marketing activities, your transactional system, your service management system. But if you don't bring all the data together and leverage it, it'll be very challenging, right? Your business is almost becoming equivalent to the data. Take a look at the Uber Eats. Uber Eats provides a fantastic tool for merchants to know everything they want to know about their customers and the food they're delivering to their customers. And they're able to use the data to determine where to open the next outlet. Similarly, Netflix, we all think Netflix is a great movie and video content site, but they are a huge data company. They know everything from what content people are using, what content people like to see, what content people prefer not to see, and they're using that information and knowledge to hire franchisees around the world to create the content and enhance their position in the market. They're so powerful. Even Amazon Prime is struggling to catch up. So and there are so many examples we can talk about, but definitely that's something to consider. In terms of acceleration and how can you accelerate use of technology in your organization. So McKinsey did a study very recently as organizations are coming out of COVID-19. What does the leaders around the world have expressed as their keen interest or where they want to focus? And no surprise, use of technology is is very high. 76% of the respondents said technology is very, very important. Second is process. How core processes is very important for the companies run. So automating that process using BPM solution is very important. And the third one is approach to innovation. 59% of the respondents highlighted that as an important aspect for them. So if you look at the technology, process, and the innovation, so all of them are very, very crucial. What it leads to is, how do you accelerate your solutions, whether products or service you're taking to the market? What can you do to take those solutions faster to your customers? The timeline to bringing an idea into production and into rollout is 3, maximum 6 months. Anything more than 6 months is a challenge in this market. So how do you leverage your organization, cut the barriers between your departments? How do you collaborate across the teams? And how do you use your front line to gather that knowledge and build the solution using the technology and automate the work processes? It all comes together if you really sit back and think and what's very important for you. So that the aspect of how do you deliver solutions in matter of weeks, not in months and quarters, is something we are hearing quite a lot. I can outline 2 case studies. One, we built teleclinic solutions around March, April last year with a number of doctors here in the UK, primarily to help clinics to use the solution for handling the pandemic situation. And that solution was built on the Creatio LowCode platform, and we took the idea to full production within 6 weeks. 4 weeks it was in pilot, and after 2 weeks it was medical clinicians started using it. And similarly, we built another product, a vertical product called Dynamedics, which is available on the Creatio marketplace, and we rolled it out to a construction company in Boston called Plumhouse to manage their staff returning to work at the sites, and it pre-screens from COVID-19 plus site registry of who's working on a given day. And that solution also was built and rolled out within 6 weeks, and that has been in production for a year now. So it is possible, but I think how we respond to the solution is very important. So I think it comes down to the concept of speed. The need for speed is very, very important. And the market is changing. All of you I'm sure you noticed the digital it's almost like a digital first arena that we are currently in. We are delivering more solutions digitally than store-based. Obviously, I'm sure stores will open and some normality will return, but I don't think demand for online ordering and delivering or online service offering is not going to disappear anytime soon. So the speed is very important. And again, from research from various Gartners to Forresters to various organizations, what most organizations are outlining is the speed is more important than reducing cost or increasing productivity. Not that they are not important, they are very important, but how you can accelerate the speed to market is very, very important. So having said that, we would like to ask the audience for their views or in your organizations. What are the barriers you are experiencing that is actually slowing down your ability to use accelerate solution. What is stopping you from responding to the market really fast? I think that'll be very useful. So you can see there are 4 options. Would appreciate if you can choose what might be relevant to your organization. While you do that, I'll give another example. A large pharmaceutical company that we work with wanted to automate their pharmaceutical ordering and collection process. Traditionally, I mean, they have many silos, and they take usually 6 months to come up with an idea, and another 12 months to roll out any changes. But using a low-code solution, we were able to come up with an idea. We were able to prototype the solution within 2 weeks, and now they are considering, they're going through the budget approval process to see whether that's something they can implement. Interesting. So I would have thought silos is a bigger problem, but looks like lack of strategy and silo decision-making processes, slow decision-making process, a big barrier. Okay, that's very interesting. Looks like the organizations have evolved and managing a much better cross-functional collaboration. There you go, fantastic. So looking into the CRM itself, or moving into the organizations, how does the organizations are adopting, how are the today's CEOs seeing the challenges ahead of them, especially in the decision making and capabilities around agility and employees working in a distributed environment, how would they manage that? So when it comes to digital transformation and automation, which, as you know, many enterprises are either done it or driving it. I think the last year I gave a few talks, and at one talk I said almost 80% of the global enterprises are engaging in the digital transformation program, but it looks like it might take another 5 years for them to go through that process. But one thing that stood out very clearly from our interactions with customers and events that the Creatio and I have done is the agility. The importance of agility is going to be very important. So agility is not just speed, but is also how do you create smaller teams? How do you enable them to make decisions faster? How do you create the framework to facilitate that kind of agility is very, very important. So for example, Amazon, as I understand, as a model, anybody in the company can come up with a brilliant idea. They put a business plan together, they pitch to the investment board. Most often, apparently, the investment board approves it. So funding, resources, technology, skill set are usually given to the whoever's raising the request, and they're given 6 months to prove their idea, and another 6 months to generate revenue and deliver ROI. So they don't ask too many questions on the idea itself, but you are accountable for delivering the return on the idea. And if you do not deliver it, they will not give you a second chance to go and ask for another innovative idea. So that kind of organizational structure are very important. So in terms of agility, there are 3 aspects I think is standing out from our knowledge. And I think this is where low code also comes into a huge factor to consider. Traditionally, we tend to spend a lot of energy and time in developing the code, but how do we use machine learning and advanced analytics? That is very, very important. And the machine learning, it's been there for a while, but how do you manage the machine learning and human interaction? That's very, very important. And the second one is, given we have remote employees working from different environment, different facilities, even in the post-COVID, I'm sure a large number of about 40 to 45% of the employees surveyed around the world would prefer to work at home or have some hybrid solution. And then how do you manage that? How do you build a leadership? How do you create a behavior? What kind of collaboration tools you need to facilitate that kind of remote, highly distributed work environment? That's something to consider. And the third one is the frontline employees who are in front of your customers, who are constantly interacting with your customers, they are your best asset for understanding what your customers are asking for. At the same time, how do you help the end customer to accelerate, to leverage the technology, the new products or new tools you might be launching to the market? So, leveraging that part of the product life cycle in an agile fashion is very important. So, an example, one big bank creates an agile team that has a representative from frontline, product manager, development team, support team, marketing team, and the sales customer acquisition team. They all come together to deliver that new solution. So that kind of capabilities are very important. And then the last thing is we really should consider the employee well-being. It's very important to consider in a distributed work environment, and technology is playing a big role, ability to manage that entire relationship with the employees and the employers, and also the end customer, is something we should really consider. Having said about agility, the next parameter to consider is the resilience. What is the new norm? So in the new norm, we are starting to see there is demand for increasing in productivity, increase in team collaboration, and using technology to deliver much robust solution. So according to World Economic Forum and McKinsey, from their analysis, they are saying there is a possibility to deliver 90% productivity increase if we can amalgamate and merge new technology with the customer experience and bring in the external partners to deliver that solution in an effective way, but more importantly, bring in end-to-end solutions. So that is it's going to be very important. So if you have a large supply chain, if you have a very big global asset footprint, you bring them together is very important. Digitalizing the operations is very important, and how do you bring cross-functional agility, which I think from the poll it looks like we are doing very well on that space. So I'm going to move into the CRM briefly. So in terms of customer relationship for the management for the next year, or I mean 2021 and beyond, it's the new norm, right? There are new business model emerging. There is new engagement model between the business are starting to come in. So the CRM, as we know in the past, even though they're expecting it to grow into $43 billion and beyond, is putting a lot of pressure on what the CRM needs to deliver, how it needs to evolve beyond the traditional CRM capabilities. And I'll cover some of the key benefits and the essentials in the next few slides. The artificial intelligence, the need for AI is ever increasing. There's many billions are going into the AI industry in various sectors, from healthcare to banking. But in the CRM space, using the data we are collecting, can the CRM recommend new campaigns we might be able to run, new region we should look at to acquire new customers, what the customers are saying, and proactively trying to acquire new clients without losing them, because there are some data that shows us we're not doing the right thing and therefore we're losing the prospects. So the AI is very, very important. And the other thing is automating the end-to-end workflows. So all the way from a salesperson talking to a potential customer to bringing them into a prospect, converting them into a proper lead, and of course closing the sales, then delivering the service, managing the solution. The whole end-to-end is very, very important. And one other thing we noticed is last year, especially from a Creatio point of view, almost 50% of the CRM activities are through the mobile, and Forrester also saying the same thing. So it's very interesting. So it's changing a lot into a very agile, mobile-centric proposition. So building that entire ecosystem is very, very important. And in my last section, I thought I'll focus more on the low-code CRM and why it's a game-changing technology. So bringing in the concepts we talked about so far, in other words, agility, speed, resilience, cutting across silos, and faster decision making. How do we all bring them together? So from a low-code, no-code solution point of view, especially in the CRM space, we are able to configure and deliver new capabilities within 2 to 4 weeks. That's the power of low-code solution. And low-code can be applied to many areas, not just CRM, but given this discussion webinars about CRM and low-code, I can say it can automate from showing the product catalog. It can show inventories from an inventory management system inside the CRM space. So you can actually give a quotation to your construction company. You are being asked to quote for a large construction site. You should be able to see your product catalog, your inventory. You should be able to price it up, and you should be able to submit the quotation to your end customer through the CRM platform. And you probably will go through back and forth on the negotiation, and all of those could be customized inside the CRM low-code environment and implement the project very fast. I don't know if you're aware of this. If you look at the time it typically takes to implement CRM has changed quite a lot. In 2004, apparently it took about 3 years to roll out a new CRM, and that was Oracle and Salesforce. And not Salesforce is a little faster, but it was Oracles of the world dominated back in 2004. In 2019, it's come down to 18 months. So that's 50% acceleration. In 2021, we think it'll probably could be within 6 months. Obviously, it depends on the size and the scale of the organization, but it is possible to launch some of the solutions in a shorter period of time. And some of the low-code solution could be even faster. And the third one is CRM should also serve the new multi-channel business demands. So if you're a retailer, used to sell only from brick and mortar, now you need to sell online, you need to sell through third party, you may have to sell it through Amazon's like aggregators. So your CRM needs to be able to handle a lot of complexities. We also seen trends shifting from pure B2B to B2C to B2B2C, and now we are seeing direct to the consumer, especially if you're a manufacturing companies, right? Like Made.com is manufacturing furniture and sending directly to you as a customer. So the CRM needs to cater for that kind of complexity and challenges, I think. So how do you do all of this is very important. Okay. Now, looking in the low-code CRM aspect of it, there are a number of factors that we should consider. One of them is, can it deliver cost reduction? The answer is yes, because you can automate your process a lot more faster. You don't have to write a lot of code. It's mostly drag and drop customization, so it's a lot more faster. And Creatio has a BPM engine built in, so we are able to define processes, define the workflow, develop different interfaces for various users, and manage the entire workflow very quickly. And it also has a very good integration. Performance improvement is very important. When I say performance, I'm talking about business performance. So ability to manage customer requests end to end is very important. Now you can define KPIs in the process automation using the low-code solution. So quality of service can be measured, product improvement ideas can be identified. So all of those are very important. If you are able to cater for multi-channel sales channel, you are able to increase your customers because you're listening to your customers in various channels, reaching out to them on social media, on messaging, in WhatsApp, etc. So you're able to do that. And by listening to your customers and using some machine learning models to forecast what the customer's challenge might be proactively and responding to the customers, you're increasing your customer loyalty. So very important to consider those functionalities in your CRM solution. So it requires some low-code functional development there. And then ultimately, if you're able to do the above 5, you're also increasing your overall customer sales volume and a much better relationship between your customers, your sales organization, your product teams, and your services team. So these are, if you're able to deliver these capabilities from a CRM perspective, you are obviously achieving much larger results. Some of the other areas where low code could be very useful is if you have an innovative solution that you want to take it to the market and you want to accelerate the phase of change in your business, and you have only 2, 4, or 6 weeks, low code is a good solution. If you have a new product idea and you want to pilot that idea with the market within 3 months, I would recommend low code, because we can build the solution very rapidly, deploy it to your user base or pilot set of customers internally or externally, get early feedback before going into full implementation. If you are limited in your budget or constrained in your skills for development, I always recommend a low-code solution. It's a much faster way of designing and building applications. And we at Mitra, we have a lot of experience in this space. We have a dedicated team focusing on that space. And lastly, if you are working on a complex workflow that requires continuous change, BPM is challenging and you need to work on it on a regular basis, then a low-code solution is a lot better than a pure BPM solutions like a Pega system, which are extremely costly. So moving into my final slide, the key benefits if you were to merge the CRM and the low-code BPM together, there are 8 benefits we are able to identify. One, the tool is very effective and it's an easy process modeling. You should be able to create a virtual team with a cross-functional team, as I mentioned earlier. The entire team can participate in modeling the process and finalize it, approve it, deploy it, get the customers to use the application and monitor it. That's easy. The case management, that the CRM tends to have a good case management, but I think here with the low-code solution, we are able to handle unstructured process, dynamic process, which traditional BPM don't really handle or they don't like it. Whereas in a low-code BPM solution, we can handle a variety of processes. Third one is there's a transparency on the process because various parties are involved and they get to participate in defining the process and see how the application is progressing. Fourth one is reporting. So in the low-code environment, we are able to access a variety of data inside the CRM and also external to the CRM through an API gateway. And we are able to do an amalgamated reporting, trending, and obviously we can apply machine learning in that case. We can get into very detailed analytics and more detailed reporting on the team's performance. If there are multiple teams, we can associate each components to an individual team, and there can be collaborative application development on the low code. So that is all very easy. We don't have complexities like source code management and all the other technical issues the technical team are challenged with. Sixth one, you are able to share information in your organization. So especially if you have multiple silos, multiple divisions, you can build your applications, but then you can have multiple landing pages for various teams to come and look at the information or email or send them information to our external applications pretty fast. They are very easy to implement. Seventh one, obviously scalability, security is very important. So we are a cloud-based SaaS product. We are able to deploy to 10 users and scale it to 10,000 users, all in the same environment. So that's beauty. You don't have to worry about infrastructure, etc. Security is built in. It also has a very good mobile framework. You can do the low-code solution onto the mobile itself, so it's pretty powerful. And last but least is the collaboration. So in any environment, you need to be able to collaborate across the departments, and that is it's possible because your team is developing in a collaborative environment, agile environment. Your business users are coming in an agile environment, and obviously you can even extend it through a chat feature or a WhatsApp channel group with your end customers to collect feedbacks and etc. So there are multiple benefits. Some of these benefits are available in large implementation as well. However, I think the benefit here is we are able to bring them all together inside a CRM low-code solution. So that's my talk, and I'm happy to take questions at the end. So Joshua, I'll pass it back to you.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Ashok. Very, very interesting stuff. Good. So just before we get to the Q&A, I will give just a quick reminder of the Creatio platform and how it works and how it really fits into everything Ashok has been talking about in terms of a low-code CRM and the benefits it brings. So what you're seeing on the screen now is Creatio's motto, that we create a world where everyone can automate business ideas in minutes. So what we say with Creatio is if you can write a business process or write a workflow down on a piece of paper using Creatio's low-code and BPM engine, you'll be able to automate that for yourself and your business. Okay, so, and the important word here as well is everyone. So because it's low code, you don't need to be a developer, you don't need coding experience, you don't need to spend years and years learning different IT languages. Because it's low code, everyone can do it with the drag and drop system. So it's very easy and everything can be automated with Creatio. So that's how this fits in. And then the three superpowers of Creatio, we do call them superpowers, just to summarize. So we have that business process management engine. So Creatio, compared to most other CRM tools, has far superior business process management capabilities. And it's the BPM engine that allows you to automate your processes, whether they are standard workflows or dynamic cases. It can all be automated with Creatio. We have the low code platform, and with Creatio, it's not just one section of the system that's low code as it is with many CRMs. All of Creatio is low code. So the entire system, the UI can be edited. You can create completely new applications. You can edit the existing applications, and it's all done with a drag and drop basis. And then we have the unified CRM. And what we mean by that is that all parts of Creatio are built on the same system. So it's built from the ground up as a single platform across marketing, sales, service, and all the other functionality is really built into one piece of software. So with some other well-known CRMs, they have a very modular approach of different pieces of software that they have loosely integrated together. With Creatio, it's fully integrated from the ground up. So when you're using the system, which hopefully some of you guys will in the future, you will see exactly how all that data is shared across the entire software. There's excellent data integration. There's very little siloing of information, and that gives you all the benefits of being able to cross-sell, upsell, and all the power from the data analytics. And an overview of the Creatio platform here. So Creatio is divided into 4 core sections. We have Creatio Sales, Marketing, Service, and Studio. So Sales Creatio, that has all our opportunity management, order management, and all the functionality that your sales team need. Marketing, campaign management, lead management, and service will be case management and kind of SLA management, things like that. So it's divided into these 3 core areas. But again, just to reiterate, Creatio is a single unified system. So although it's split into these functional areas, it's still one piece of software. Now, all of this is designed using Creatio Studio. Creatio Studio is our low-code and business process management platform. So this is where you can design your own applications, you can build your own workflows and processes. And if you're using Sales Creatio or Marketing Creatio or Service Creatio, you can edit, update, change all the applications, all the UI items, all the processes in the system, all using drag and drop as you need to. So what this means is you get this incredible flexibility of the system. So if your business requirements change, your IT system can change very, very quickly to keep up with those requirements. So again, compared to more traditional CRMs, where changing the CRM or updating certain functionality can take a long time and get very expensive, with Creatio, it's very quick and easy to do. And this also means that you have a future-proof system. So because you have that low code and that BPM together, if in the future, maybe 1 year or 2 years down the line, you need to add a new service or a completely new application, or you're kind of selling in a new region that requires completely different processes, you can configure that and set that up very quickly without spending too much on adding extra modules or adding extra development work. So it's this Creatio Studio low-code application platform and BPM engine that really elevates what you can do with Creatio into being really something very, very special. Okay, and then just one final point to you all listening, just so you know, Creatio is now beginning to host a series of podcasts online. We'll call it LowCode Talks. If you are interested in listening to our Creatio podcast, we will be talking about all things low code, all things CRM, all things business process management and software. It's really exciting for us and we're really looking forward to it. So if you'd like to join, please scan the QR code. And whether you want to listen online, listen on your phone or on your laptop, scan the QR code and please give us a listen. It's something we're quite excited about growing. So please join us there as well. Excellent. Okay. And this brings us to our Q&A section. So I'll invite anyone listening. If you have any questions, myself and Ashok are here to answer them. So do you have any questions about low code, about CRM, Mitra, or Creatio?
So Joshua, I see a few questions. I can try to answer them while the other questions come up. So the first question is, let's see, just to define what is silos and perhaps give some tech examples from real life and business. So silos are, if you take a typical bank, they have retail, they have wealth management, they have mortgage, etc. So you typically have customers who will have a retail account with you, possibly even business account, might invest with you and also have a mortgage for their home. And if I were to raise a request with my relationship manager on the retail about my mortgage, they'll typically pass me to the mortgage person and so on. So I have a customer, don't get a seamless experience. I just get this, I feel like I'm talking to different people inside the same organization, even though they are siloed. So if you were to build a web application, like a customer portal for me to see all my services together, how can I have a seamless interface? And if I were to call the customer service, how can they provide you the entire solution as a single interface rather than diverting me to different parts of the organization? And that goes all the way from thinking about a solution, rolling it out, and mobilizing it. So that's what I mean by creating an integrated virtual team, all the way from the front line to the back office services across multiple lines of business, and building that as a solution to the customers rather than thinking inside the organization, how am I organized? So it's a structure. And the good thing about low code is you can build these workflows very easily, and you can have business users from different lines of business participating in the workflow creation. So it's really not so much how do I build the technologies, more about how do I build the solution. The second question is, do you think this low-code, more visual CRM software decreases the need for the CRM business teams in an organization? So any just analytical average business lines can manage all the CRM efforts. Joshua, do you want to take that question?
Sure. So in terms of will it reduce the need for CRM teams in an organization? I don't necessarily think it will. What I think it will do is change what those CRM teams can achieve. So it's not necessarily, it's low code, anyone can do it, get rid of the CRM teams. I think what it will do is the CRM teams will be able to achieve so much more in such a short amount of time with, fewer of their own resources. So rather than, the CRM teams get a request from business, they need to add, a new sales workflow, there's a new service line, which might take them a month or a couple of months, possibly working with a third-party, developer to configure into the system. It might require some coding work. They might need to apply for budget to get the money to spend on it and all that stuff. With the low-code system, that same CRM team would be able to do this themselves. So they'll be able to configure that workflow into the system. They'll be able to do it all, probably within days, get it all tested, working and activated much quicker themselves, and then they can move on to the next project. So what will happen is the CRM team is by no means replaced, but they can achieve so much more in so much less time. And what we quite often see is that actually when these CRM teams come to us in the beginning, they have a huge backlog of workflows and processes and things that they want the system to do. And when they start with Creatio and the low-code way of doing things, they very quickly progress through that backlog, and it takes a little bit of time for business to catch up, but eventually business realizes, wait, actually, and we make a request, now it can happen very quickly. And then things start to get a lot more exciting because business starts sending requests more frequently. The CRM team and IT are able to react more quickly, and the whole business becomes much smoother in working together. So if you're in the CRM teams or the IT teams, I think this is definitely not something to replace you. It's just a tool that will make your work much more easier and quicker to do.
Yeah, agree with you, Joshua. The two more questions. So third one is, can you confirm to what level it's brandable, the Creatio? So when we deploy the Creatio to customers, we put the customer's logo, look and feel gets changed. The color branding can be based on your organizations. Pretty much everything is completely customizable. And at Mitra, we built a vertical solution called Dynamedics, which is around employee health and well-being product, and that is fully customized, and the branding, everything is our own name and logo and colors and so on. So that's doable. And the last question I see is, how or would you suggest moving from software design the old way to this low-code way? That's a very good question, whoever asked that question. So, you do have legacy code built in mainframes and COBOLs and, some very complex whole technology. You also have modern technology, but huge platform. You may build your whole your ERP or a supply chain, everything may be running on some existing software like SAP. Now, the idea of a low-code solution is not to replace them, but to use a low-code to develop functionalities to meet your changing customer demand, changing market demand, to be able to visualize and build the new functionalities in this new portal or mobile app, whatever you may want to do, but then integrate that with your backend software, the legacy software, so that the data flows back and forth, which is achievable using the integration hub inside the Creatio, or even more. If you already have WSO2 or IBM integration or Oracle ESP hub, we can connect to that to backend system, but the low code is used for building new functionalities, new capabilities, or a new CRM. So that's typically how we see it. It's not to replace existing system. Now, over time, you might be able to migrate the functionalities into the low-code solution. Your backend becomes nothing but a data store. Then you have an option to sundown the old application if you choose to. That's typically how we would engage and approach. There's one other question I saw. What development lifecycle can be automated utilizing low-code? We use agile, 2-week sprints. Some clients prefer 1 week, but 2 weeks is what we would typically recommend. The entire user story development backlog, putting into your Scrum plan. You do a 6 to 7 days of coding and unit testing. You have 3 days to do functional testing, check with the business users and agree what's fully functioning, and then you go on to the next sprint for the second sprint and so on. That's what we've been using at Mitra for many years now. Low code is even better because you can be rapid with your implementation. In fact, with Caledonia in Australia, a construction company, they came to us with a business problem on Monday. On Wednesday, we showed them a prototype. On Friday, we showed them much enhanced functionality, and they were convinced this is the right tool to go ahead, and then we completed the contract. We went into implementation, and it's in pilot production at the moment. So yeah, it's Agile is a great solution, lifecycle management for this.
Mm-hmm. And just as an extra note from my side, so I also have a customer in Australia who their internal IT team, their goal with Creatio is to create a 48-hour turnaround in being able to update or create workflows and processes in the system. So when they get a request from business, they want to, within 48 hours, have been able to create a process or a workflow in the system that's working. So it can be done very, very quickly if needed.
One more question. Can integrate with the existing system or start from the scratch? Yeah, that is to confirm. You're right. You can build a brand new application with its own data store, workflow, front end, web application, mobile application. And Creatio has a very good integration platform, open API based, so we can integrate to any existing application as long as they have open API. If they don't, then if you have a CVS file upload capability, we can absorb the data on a daily basis. But otherwise, yeah, it can integrate or from the beginning. I think that's it. We are just on the dot. So thank you, Joshua and Creatio, for inviting. It was a pleasure. Hopefully, audience benefited from this webinar.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much, Ashok. Thank you. Mitra, thank you, and everyone who joined. Thanks very much. If you need anything, of course, reach out to myself or Ashok or Creatio or Mitra. We look forward to seeing you again soon. All right, take care.